proudly covering all of northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is Eyewitness News at 11.
Good Friday evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Nick Toma. A Lackawanna County judge, veteran, and member of the Eyewitness News team was honored today in a very special way for his service to our community. 2822 Eyewitness News reporter Madonna Mantione explains.
3. Wow.
Applause filled the Lackawanna County Courthouse as a portrait of Senior Judge Thomas J. Munley was unveiled in front of a large crowd in Courtroom 3.
The portrait, I think, is wonderful. That portrait is made to a T. So whoever did, I don't even know who did it, but whoever did it did a great job.
Judge Munley has served the people of Lackawanna County since 2005. He's also a decorated Vietnam War veteran who's passionate about advocating for local veterans and their families.
He's just a great person all around, one of the best father I could ever ask for. He's a great husband, and my brothers and I love him. We're so proud to call him our father.
The special honor was given to Judge Munley by the 45th Judicial District and the Lackawanna Bar Association. Family, friends, and constituents shared stories and memories during the ceremony.
He was a mentor to me when I first took the bench, and I'm just so grateful that he's my friend and he is an inspiration to me in every way.
Judge Munley reflects on his journey with gratitude.
It's been a long road, 16 years as a judge here in Lackawanna County, and every day when I walk in this courthouse, I feel honored to be part of it.
In Scranton, Madonna Mantione, 2822 Eyewitness News.
Judge Munley retired from the bench earlier this year. He has been a longtime friend of Eyewitness News and, of course, is the host of our segment, Veterans Views. Police say a 34-year-old...
Very auspicious occasion, and at this time I am going to turn this program over to the Master of Ceremonies, Darren Moran.
May it please the court. Welcome, everyone. And with the court's permission, we'd like to begin the program with a prayer of invocation. Reverend Terry Trost, pastor of Lakely Assembly of God Church.
Our gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for your presence that is obviously felt today amongst friends, family, as we honor our judge and many years of faithful service that he's given to this community, this country. And we just thank you for your blessing that rests upon him and your blessing that will continue with him into this new season of life, this new horizon that he is entering in retirement. We thank you for it, Lord. We just want to acknowledge that every good and perfect gift, your word declares, comes down from our Father of heavenly lights. We ask your blessing today again on this ceremony as we celebrate the life of our honorable judge and dear friend, Thomas Munley. In Jesus' name, everyone said, amen.
Family of Judge Munley and friends, you, his friends and family, as you undoubtedly know, are the true treasures of his life. It is truly a momentous occasion for us all. On behalf of Judge Munley in particular, we express our heartfelt thanks to the Lackawanna Bar Association for its generous contribution in underwriting the cost of this portrait project. Michael Cosgrove Esquire, the president of the Bar Association, we recognize you on behalf of the association and thank you. And Judge Munley asks that you convey his sincere gratitude to the membership. Thank you. I would also like to pay particular attention to some special guests who are here, starting with the most special, the members of Judge Munley's family. Brother Bob and Gloria, Brother Joe and Renee, and Antonia, Elena, Jackie, and Mary. Other members of the family will be participating in the program. In addition, there are some special guests, and I hope I've noted everyone coming in, but I want to, former city mayors, Dave Wenzel, Jesse Connors, and former Commissioner Patrick O'Malley. We are grateful for all of you coming and celebrating with Judge Munley and his family.
My niece Taylor's here too.
As a long-time and well-known television personality, the judge has helpfully reminded me of our copyright obligations and the necessity to give credits where due. So here goes. This is a TJM production. All rights reserved unto him. His honor is the producer and director and casting director. However, the judge is not the scriptwriter. The words spoken here today are those of the speakers. Although they are not written by Judge Munley, they are surely inspired by him. Larry, I just can't wait to hear what you're going to say about me. So, very early in the program and get it over. Born and raised in Jessup, he attended high school there and played on the football team. After college, he returned there to his alma mater to teach. He still resides to this very day and is beloved. A draft notice from the United States Army arrived. He soon thereafter found himself in ferocious firefights amidst the sweltering jungles and rice paddies of Vietnam. During combat with the enemy, he prayed to survive, but more importantly, fought to protect his buddies, his comrades in arms. For this, he was awarded the Bronze Star. He never mentions it in true classic Tom Munley humility, despite the fact his service and sacrifice was so distinguished. A few years, and only a few years, following his election and elevation to the bench, his colleagues on the bench voted him to be their president judge. While serving as judge, he has continued his TV career, as well as his devotion to military service members and their families. He nurtures them with support, encouragement, and guidance in the daily broadcast of the show, which he hosts on WBRE, Veterans Views. Honesty, humility, loyalty. These features of Judge Munley will be his everlasting legacy. That legacy will endure long after the point in time when the paints and oils of this portrait fade away.
About 3 months ago, I received a phone call, and they said, you may be interested in this. And I said, okay, what is it? And they said, they're going to hang Judge Munley at the courthouse. And I, in my excitement, said, great. I've been waiting for this for a long time. They should have done it to the SOB years ago. Well, as it turns out, I was disappointed, and I actually, the fact of the matter is that Tom Munley is about as far away from the list of people that I treasure and keep, who are my candidates for being hung outside the courthouse. There's nobody who is like him. You can travel all over the world and you will never find another Tom Munley. Can you explain why you like him? No, you might say I like, I like the way he runs the courtroom. You might say I like the way he functions as a defense attorney. You might say I like the way he does this, I like the way he does that. That's like, there's no explanation for the love that this makes. I've seen him give money when he has nothing. and he's been generous all over the years to a fault. And he is courageous to a fault, and he is honest to a fault. And he is the strangest human being you're ever going to meet. I don't know about you, but one of the pleasures of my life has been that I have had many opportunities to give him and take from him, or to give him advice as he goes through life. And I'm sure many of you here today have as well. He never came out of Chester, did he? He's still there. What he has done really on his own motor has been really remarkable.
Let me start off by saying that Judge Munley is as has been very well said, is a unique individual. And we all love him on this bench. Sometimes we don't like him, but we all love him. And we're very, very proud of the service that he has given this community for decades, what he gave our country in Vietnam and what he's given to the Lackawanna County for the last number of decades. Once the portrait is unveiled, when can we expect to see it on billboards? It's already here. They're unveiling them on each one of those.
I hope it doesn't look like the portrait of Sam Adams on billboards. But Tom, I had a long speech prepared. First of all, I want to thank everyone for being here, and I'm not going to thank you by name, but I have promised to Judge Munley that he is not going to thank every single one of you who want to be out of here for church on Sunday. Please, this is the promise you made to me. I have to watch what I'm saying because there's children in the room, number one. Second of all, he's not going to thank everyone. But on a serious note, I was very fortunate when I was in college to work for Magistrate Gene Cadden. And I can remember a young Tom Munley coming in as an attorney, and he always had an entourage with him, and he was very, very charismatic, and was a wonderful defense attorney. But there was another part of Tom Munley, and that is that he knew every single person's name that was in that courtroom. He knew the secretaries, he knew the person, the constable that was there, and there I was, a junior in University of Scranton, and I was in the back room. He came in and he introduced himself, and he asked me who I was and what I was doing there. And he sat there for about 15 minutes. He said, you're going to do well in law school. I was like, who is this guy? And I will never forget just how he reached out to everyone that was there. It was just his personality. Go ahead several years, and it was very important. 40 years next March, third week of March, we had a murder trial against one another. And I was a young attorney in the DA's office, and here was Tom Munley, and there was entourage, and big Mercedes and everything else. And here I was, I think I had a motorcycle or a bicycle, I don't know which it was. But Tom and I were not only fought in the courtroom, but the way in which he handled basically an young assistant DA with respect and courteous, and really could have run over me in a lot of ways. But that was not Tom's style. Tom's style was always to reach out to people and to be courteous and to be overly friendly in regard to the way in which he conducted himself. And I can tell you, even after that murder trial, he took me out that night to the Friendly Sons and said, come on to my table. And I thought to myself, wow. It was really, as a young attorney, it was really for me a very impressionable moment. And Tom has always carried that not only for members of the bench, but if you go out to dinner with him, you see the way he treats the waitresses, the staff that's cleaning the table. It doesn't matter to Tom who you are. He reaches out his hand to that individual and treats them with respect and courtesy. And I think there's not probably a single person in a restaurant or a hotel or wherever it may be that Tom, when he walks in, that they don't know him by the time he leaves. And that's really a genuine part of his character to make sure that he treats everyone with respect. So, Tom, thank you for all of the good memories, and we'll have you hanging around for a while.
Tommy, congratulations. Well-deserved honor, and on behalf of all the judges, we'd like to really thank Tommy for his lifetime of service. We've heard about it here today. It started first as a teacher and then at a very young age with service to his country in Vietnam. It continued when he finished law school and moved back to this area, and he took on the task of representing the poor who had been charged with crimes and could not afford lawyers. It then continued 16 years ago when he joined this bench, and some of you may know and some of you may not know, it's continuing, although outside of this county, in senior status as he travels primarily to Dauphin County pretty much every week in order to serve and help them out with their court operations there. I've always marveled at the broad cross-section of the community that Tommy is connected to. I mean, we know of his association with veterans, we know of his affiliation, obviously, with the trial bar and with the bench and with other professional organizations, but he's also been really connected always to the less fortunate in our community. I remember sitting here in 2006 in Tommy's swearing-in ceremony and looking at the crowd and leaning over to Bobby Mazzoni, who was seated next to me, and saying, only Tommy Munley could have a swearing-in ceremony where a guy in a tank top can be standing next to a guy in a tuxedo. There were two people like that, but that just shows you all the people that he had touched along the way over the years. I know I speak on behalf of all the judges here when I tell you we're all better judges today because of our service with Tommy. Tommy, as Larry mentioned, after only having been here about 5 years, was chosen by us to be our president judge and led us through some very challenging times in 2006 and through 2011. And we're forever, indebted to him for the leadership he displayed and the camaraderie and the fellowship that he provided to us. So, Tommy, I'm going to be charitable today, and I'm not going to tease you. And I just want to tell you, we're truly, truly grateful for all you've given to us here on the bench and to the wider community as a whole. And congratulations on this great day. Every time he made a mistake on the bench, he'd say, blame Neil.
I know you longer than anybody in this room, including your brothers. There's only a year between us, age-wise. We both grew up in Jessup. I can remember playing kick-the-can with you in front of St. Mary's Church when we were no more than 6 or 7 years old. And you are one of the very few people who have friends both in uptown Jessup and downtown Jessup. You have more friends than anybody else I knew or know in Jessup, and deservedly so. Our family history goes back generations. I can remember putting coal in your family's house when I was on my father's trucks, and your mother would make almost a state visit when she came to pay for the coal, and would sit and visit with my mother and go through pots of coffee. But we have remained friends throughout the year. I've always been proud to refer to you as my friends from Jessup. You are really the embodiment of our time, and just all the things that are good about it. Going back to the Mike Lawler days, the love and the enduring service that you offered to our county, to our neighbors, to our friends from Jessup. And as I've grown older, I've certainly learned the importance of old friends. And you can't make new old friends. I am so proud that you are my friend. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That I can call you friend. To me, you are an inspiration, and I have nothing but respect and admiration for you and genuine love and affection. When I first took the bench, you were a mentor to me, and I am so appreciative. I also have stories, though, from when I was a young assistant district attorney. I met Tom in the 1980s. And the entourage that everyone is speaking of is legendary, and some of them are here today. I remember being a young assistant district attorney, and even though you were a formidable foe, you were always so kind and easy to deal with and fair and honest in the courtroom, and we had many trials together. And what I learned is that not only does everybody in the community love Tom, but all of the jurors do too. So that was sometimes my experience. But it was just such a great honor to practice with you. And then I practiced before you when you took the bench, and my very last jury trial as a lawyer was in front of you, and you were a great jurist to practice in front of. So fair and even-tempered. And we are going to miss you. You're going to be missed here on the bench. We always loved hearing your stories. I feel that your life has been so compelling when I never tire of you telling me about your experiences from Vietnam to going to law school in Louisiana on the GI Bill and not having a place to live, and meeting with the dean of the law school on the first day of class, and he put you up in an apartment or found you a place to stay. I mean, you really have had a compelling career and life, and I'm just so grateful that I got to know you and be part of it. Thank you.
It's a beautiful, beautiful portrait. And if you look carefully, you can see Snap Nagelberg and Stanley Dill in the back. Wonderful likeness of those guys. I have many fond memories of you, but one of the fondest memories is when we campaigned together, when you were running for judge, and I was running for district judge up in the Addingtons. And I never got to properly thank you, but we stood there at a couple of polling places together. So I feel that connection with you, and been blessed to call you friend and share a bench with you over these years. So wish you nothing but the best.
Because he happens to have the same last name as me. So wherever I go, when I go to, you know, crowd different people, run into people who don't know who I am, they always end up asking me, are you related to Tom Munley? Is Tom Munley your dad? And it goes through, it gets very complicated, let me tell you, because I have to adjust the Munleys, the Archibald Munleys, you know, all of this. And what I tell them, I give them the explanation of the long-standing relationship our families have had over many, many years. In fact, I think the first place after you came home from Vietnam, the first stop was at my bar house.
1970, first stop I made was at your house.
Right? No, we're not related, but we're incredible friends. We're great friends. We're great friends of our families. And but what they say is he is a wonderful friend of the veterans, our veterans. That he's so down to earth. That he's such a great guy. And I say, yes, he is. He's marvelous. So, Tom, today we're here to honor you and to see this beautiful portrait. I didn't have the opportunity to come in and take a look at it. And you are a friend. You are a soldier's angel. And a great friend of all of us here on the bench. And you were wonderful to me when we first went on the bench in 2016 and continue to be. And I'm honored to call you a friend.
I work each and every day as hard as I can to try and live up to the expectations you've left behind. But I do want to talk briefly about something that happened to me during my campaign experience that I think pretty much sums up and defines Judge Munley. I was on the campaign trail, as anyone who's ran for judge knows, for 1 year. Night, day, weekends, from Peckville to Old Forge to New Branson to North Pocono. And everybody wants to know, whose seat are you running for? And I said, Judge Tom Munley. And here were all the answers I got. They can be summed up into 4 paragraphs. Number one, he represented me, a family member, a friend, an aunt, or an uncle, and we loved him. That was one. Number two, is he the one for the TV show? Yes, he is. We love that TV show, and we watch it every Sunday. That was the second one. The third one is, as someone mentioned before, oh, we were in front of him on a jury, or we were a witness. He's a wonderful, wonderful person. Yes, yes, yes. And then the final one, without fail, was we always admire the work he does on behalf of veterans. So many veterans came up to me and said that it was heartwarming. So I am here to tell you that yes, while the circle of judges here who have had the opportunity to work with you and everyone here holds you in such high regard, please know from my personal experience on the road for 1 year, you are being loved by the residents of Lackawanna. Congratulations.
Back in the mid-'80s, when Bill was lieutenant governor, Dick Thornburg nominated Tom and I for judge. We never made it through the Senate. But so that was sort of the start of the coalescing of all the personalities that you see here. So that Tom and I got to be friends. Actually, we were friends before that. And Tom and my brother Abel were friends before that. And we used to go to places that no longer exist. That's how you know you're getting old. Right? We used to meet at the Colony Diner for breakfast or dinner or lunch, right? Colony down at places like an Indian deli or something like that. So there's places like that that actually existed that no longer exist. That's how you know you get old. Second thing you know, Tom, is look how close I am to the pool. if my chair slides off here, I'm out the door. This is where you're headed. This is what you have to look forward to. This is going to be your high point of senior judgeship right here, because then you start getting all the work that Mary Dempsey doesn't want to do 5 days. I'm only kidding. Tom and I are similar in our maternal backgrounds. Tom's mom, her family, and my family were from the same area of Italy, in Perugia, near Gubbio. I didn't live in Jessup. I did visit Gubbio. But, so we've talked about the fact, now, we also have to take into consideration, Tom is also half Irish. Now, I have to tell you, I have a predilection for that because I have 2 children that are half Italian and half Irish, and I think it's a wonderful combination.
3. Wow. It really looks good. I never saw that.
There's that humility again.
Now you look younger in the picture.
How come I'm not speaking instead of Bill Scranton? I said, well, I asked Bill Scranton. He said, well, I'll speak at your funeral. But anyway, I want to thank everybody on this program, you know, Larry and Bill and everybody else, Reverend and Brian Clark's for his safety benediction. Thank you so much. Thanks to the Bar Association. I want to thank the Stacy and Frank for what they did for me for this. And I'm really honored to be part of this. I helped whenever I could, and it was just an amazing, best part of my life the last 16 years. It was unbelievable. To sit here as a judge, what an honor that for somebody to elect you as a judge, and then to sit here with all these important and wonderful jurists. Okay, I'll never forget these veterans who showed up. Yes, I spent my whole life trying to help veterans. I do a show with Bob Moran and Mark Powell and Frank Ruggiero and a couple other people. I think I know Mark shared Frank and Bob Moran's here. We do a show on veterans, and we help a lot of veterans over the county, and we'll continue to do that. I want to say thank you for all of that, all the mayors. Jimmy Connors, how come you're not sitting with all the mayors? But thank you so much for what you did for me. I'll never forget it. I'm hoping that after this is over, I know the judges are going back, I'm going to stay out there. I'm hoping I get a chance to meet everybody, that you can shake my hand, and at least I'd like to say hello to you. It'd be my honor to do so. And gave you the first in line. Because I know the advice that you're going to talk every single day on the phone. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say. And I was thinking, my picture's going to be, somebody's going to hang my picture right in the back. Mars will all that he's going to continue a political career next year. We'll see. With the permission of the court.
Margaret Bizignani Moyle, MARGARET, and Moyle, MOYLE.
You hyphen?
No hyphen.
No hyphen. And what's your title exactly?
Judge.
Just should I say?
Judge of the Court of Common Pleas for Lackawanna County, like the same as Tom. So judge is fine.
Judge is fine. Right.
Yeah.
Today is a very awesome day. We're celebrating Judge Munley. Tell me a little bit about him and your experience with him.
I've known Judge Munley since 1988 when we were both attorneys and we had many trials together, and he is just an inspiration. He, in and out of the courtroom, he's just kind, compassionate, very skilled lawyer. He was a formidable foe when I had to go up against him in the courtroom, and I always enjoyed it though. And then on the bench, he was a mentor to me when I first took the bench, and I'm just so grateful that he's my friend and he is an inspiration to me in every way.
Is it surprising that so many people turned out today?
No, not at all. This is how I've known Tom since the 1980s. His impact in this community is so widespread. Everyone loves him, and that's just because he's just so approachable. He will talk to anyone about anything, and he genuinely wants to engage the other person. He wants to hear what they have to say, and this is just how Tom is. It's been this way for almost 40 years.
What do you think of the portrait?
I love it. It's beautiful. It captured him. Yes, yes.
Anything else you'd like to say about Judge Munley?
Just that I'm so grateful he's my friend, and we are going to miss him here on the bench for sure.
Right. The things people can do.
Logan Munley, LOGANMUNLEY.
Are you his oldest son?
Youngest.
Youngest son. And
I'm his wife, Jodine. Jodean.
Tell me a little bit about today.
Today, my father's portrait's being unveiled. I'm so proud of him. He worked his whole life trying to help veterans, and he was a great judge. He served the county as a lawyer for over 30 years, and he was a judge for 16 years, and his whole life goal is to just help people and make the world a better place. And as you can see, the turnout is fantastic. Everybody's here for him to support him, and we're just so proud of him for all of his accomplishments.
He's your father. Tell me a little bit. What's it like being the son of
So many people look up to my father, and they don't get to see him the way I see him. I get to see him where he's the perfect person, if that even makes sense. He's just a great person all around, one of the best father I could ever ask for. He's a great husband, and my brothers and I love him. We're so proud to call him our father.
Are you surprised that so many people showed up today?
I'm not surprised. I know many people love my father just as all the friends and family that showed up. He has so many supporters and so many people care for him, and he cares about them just as much. So I'm not surprised to see so many people showed up to support him today.
What do you think of the portrait?
I think it's fantastic. This portrait's beautiful. It couldn't be. It's a perfect depiction of him, and I'm just, like he said at the end, it's like 50 years from now I could walk in here and tell my kids or my grandchildren that's my father up on that wall.
No, this is Tommy's other son, Tommy.
Is he the oldest?
Put your hands
Yes,
by your side.
he is
We're
the
good.
Okay. Good. Okay. We're good.
Yeah, no, do one more because you weren't looking. So, all right, here we go. Very good. Good job, Judge. Good.
What a wonderful day it is for me today to have my whole family here. My son Logan, my son Tommy, my son Johnny, my wife Jodine, and everybody in the family that came here today, my nieces and nephews, to honor me for this beautiful event. The judges are just fantastic. It's been a long road, 16 years as a judge here in Lackawanna County, and every day when I walk in this courthouse, I feel honored to be part of it.
What do you think of the portrait?
The portrait, I think, is wonderful. That portrait is made to a T. So whoever did, I don't even know who did it, but whoever did it did a great job.
Where do you think it's going to hang up here?
I know it's going to hang right where that clock is in the back of this courtroom right here.
Are you surprised that so many people turned out today?
I'm surprised that we had this, and I heard the other room, there was a pile of people in the other room watching it on video.
That's awesome. What's going through your head? What is going through your head when they told you were gonna, you were gonna get this portrait? What were you thinking when you?
I was thinking to myself, for me to be on this model, as I said, someday Logan, long after I'm gone, he'll come in here and he'll take a look at that portrait 50 years from now, and he'll say that was my father.
Thanks, Judge. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.